Hey, George Kilpatrick, GK George Kilpatrick, that is, host of New Inspiration for the Nation, here with Dr. Boyce Watkins. He's an author. He's a finance professor at Syracuse University, but not for very long. In a blog he sent out to his peoples all around the world, he announced that he was stepping down from his post as one of the first African-American professors in the Department of Finance at the prestigious Whitman School at Syracuse University. So we're here to let Dr. Boyce kick it with us for a little while. He's the author of Financial Lovemaking, How to Merge Your Assets with Your Partners in Ways That Make Sense, all of that good stuff. But we're here to keep it real, break it on down, and to find out what else you're doing. So you're doing a lot. I didn't actually go through your whole bio, but if you want to amplify or add something to it, Dr. Boyce, go ahead on and do that.
You know, I'm just doing my thing.
Yeah.
We have fierce411.com, which is our biggest media project right now, which I started with some students who graduated out of the Newhouse School at Syracuse. Basically, I told them that I feel that there are too few black female voices in media. And I said, rather than you guys, as talented as you are, graduating and hoping and praying that Essence offers you that last internship, which doesn't pay anything, I said, why don't you go out and compete with Essence? Create something that's your own. You've got a unique niche and a demographic you can appeal to more effectively than Essence. If we put together a business plan, I'll put the money behind what you're doing and we'll make it take off. And thus far, it's been doing really well. In just the first few months, we've hit over 25,000 visitors per week to the websites, and that is a substantial accomplishment given that Fierce has only been around for 7 months now.
All right, Dr. Boyce, we want the real deal. So why are you leaving Syracuse University?
It's time for me to move on. Life just says to me that I'm not interested in living a life that I'm not comfortable with just so I can keep a certain type of job. I want another experience, and I want to be in a bigger city with more to do, with more diversity. Syracuse is a place that is, quite honestly, economically and socially and climactically damp. It's like Gotham City in a way. You know, everything's kind of dead here. And I want to be in a place that's growing, that's robust, that's sort of got a lot more going on. Also, when I get married, our children will be black and Latino. Marrying a woman who's she's a black one. She's a sister. She's an AKA and all that stuff, but she's actually of Panamanian descent. And so we're going to make sure our children can speak Spanish and that they're in an environment that will appreciate the diversity they bring to the table. So all that's happening at once, which is why I want to get out of Syracuse.
You said that one of the things you said in your letter or your essay or your blog, I want to call it your blog.
All of that. Call it a blog. It's a blog.
It's a blog. You alluded to the fact that they don't appreciate you for who you are, or that you want to. You've often said this to me in your interviews, that you are a black man who teaches finance, not a finance professor who happens to be black. And there's a distinction there. And that identification for you will cause problems for you.
Yeah, it causes problems all the time. I grew up knowing that the world will never love you if you are a proud, strong black man. If you carry your blackness on your sleeve and you know that being black is very important to you, you need to understand that white folks aren't always going to love that. Even those who are allegedly liberated from racism, the disease of racism, it has its greatest impact on those who think they've been cured. And Syracuse is a place where they believe they've been cured of racism, but I've seen just as much racism here as I saw when I was in the deep and dirty South. But the thing about it is that I really never needed, that applause and credibility from the people around me in order to feel good about who I am. I didn't need anybody to validate me. I felt that it was good enough as a black scholar to be a strong black scholar and therefore only receive validation from my own people. And so the problem is that, the reality is that sometimes you're not going to get that promotion to administrator or vice president or whatever of Syracuse University. You're actually going to be more likely to be ostracized. And so my whole time here, I've pretty much been rejected by the university. They've never really embraced me or anything I've done, because just using the words black man in your research or in your sentences or in anything you do is going to make them say, oh, wait, okay, I need to stay away from this guy.
Well, you wrote a book, What If George Bush Were a Black Man? I mean, you're pretty clear about that. Is it because you made a lot of points? Let me just go back to a couple of them. You said that when you're a strong black man and I wear it on my sleeve. What's the difference between you and people that see themselves as strong black men but don't wear it on their sleeves?
Well, I'll give you one example. When I see racism, I'm going to call it out.
Period.
I'm right. I'm not going to be mean to you when I say it, but I am going to be firm and let you know that this is not acceptable. For example, Syracuse University has many, many academic departments that have never, in over 100 years of existence, ever tenured a single African American. How in the world can you ever say that that is not systematically and undeniably racist? Don't tell me that I should be happy because you finally hired a black person in 2006. 2006 is too late to have a first black anything. Even the Whitman School, as much as I love the Whitman School and I love Mel Stith, who is
an African American.
Yes, who is a black man, who is a black man that I respect. Understand, the Whitman School to this day has not in any single department, to my knowledge, ever tenured an African American. And I know I'm not going to be the first because I'm going to be gone. Martin Nunley, he left.
Were you on tenure track there?
I was on tenure track, yeah. I probably wouldn't have gotten tenure because a lot of times getting tenure comes down to how much people like you. And the reality is that a lot of my colleagues, they're not going to respect things that you do in the black community, initiatives in the black community. It happens everywhere. When Cornel West was at Harvard and he worked on Al Sharpton's presidential campaign, the Harvard University president did not take that as seriously as he would have taken it if he had worked on, say John McCain's presidential campaign. But that's okay because we don't need to get that validation from other people to know that we are somebody.
It's pretty strong talking, of course, with Boyce Watkins. Boyce Watkins is a finance professor at Syracuse University, the first finance professor, African-American finance professor at Syracuse University, African-American in the department in the business school. It sounds to me like you're pretty passionate about this point. And I wonder if you feel that the price you're paying for being who you are is the price you're obviously willing to pay that price because you're standing firm. But I'm going back to the notion that if I wear this on my sleeve, do I have to wear it to get what I want ultimately? Because I'm thinking, how do I see myself if I were you, or how would you see me trying to do the same thing? I may have a different approach than you, or another black man who has a different approach than you do. How do you see that working for you? Or not working for you, or working for other people? Is it just, or this is just who you are and this is who you have to be?
It's who I am and who I have to be. I don't consider it a price that I pay.
Right.
I think of it as an investment that I make
in
to maintain
your people and in yourself.
In my people and in myself, to maintain the integrity that I want to have as a black man. I feel very good about who I am. I don't need to get these accolades and these carrots that white America tends to put in front of you, because the thing about it, the problem with the carrots is that many times to go and pick up the carrot that white America has laid out for you, you must leave the field that contains your own people and go to another man's pasture. Do you understand? And so effectively, rather than staying home and using your brilliance and your capability to help solve critical problems in your community, you're ashamed of that because your white colleagues do not provide you with additional esteem for doing those things. So you effectively end up doing what a lot of black academics do, the black academics.
You go black academics.
Black academics. They go in their offices and they spend their whole careers writing research papers that nobody ever reads, and they're afraid of doing anything that directly impacts the black community. I'm talking about the people, because they know that they're going to be punished. So they are, we effectively become the house Negroes, and we're in the house and we don't want to go out in the field.
But you do. But isn't there some part of you that says, I want the validation and the respect of my peers, white as well?
Yeah, but understand, many times somebody's validation of you comes with them feeling that what you're doing is important, or them agreeing with you. There are intelligent and capable and amazing people that I might criticize heavily because I just don't like who they are. I don't like how they're doing what they're doing. I don't like what they're doing. And so if that person is waiting on me to validate them as a human being, they're going to be waiting a long time. So what I say to people is, find what it is that makes you special, makes you unique. And then if you're looking for an opinion about what kind of person you are, find people who can appreciate what you bring to the table. You could be a white Mercedes, but if you're sitting in front of a car owner or a purchaser who doesn't like the color white, then you could walk away feeling that you're not a pretty car because they might just have a preference for black cars.
But it seems to me the experience that you have is not different than what a lot of our young people experience all the way through their academic experience.
Absolutely.